Oh, beautiful for spacious skies. Oh, amber waves of grain.
And some of y'all don't like it the way that I now spit like MC2 dolls on the holier than thou kick. Smack your face for your blasphemous ways, and everybody they quote me like the latest catchphrase. I'm on a mission that goes beyond material, so eat this killer series, serial killer cereal. Killer for real, drop on the beer with a sound you can feel like cold hard steel. That swarm like the blood flows out of your head as I rock non-stop till I'm on my deathbed. And I can swap out a catalytic converter with a few hand tools, but I can never be murdered. Spit the rapid fire like around the shells. I got the lyrical skills that sends the devil to hell. So don't disrespect what you can't understand, cause I can still squash your brain in the palm of my hand. Stupid.
Another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given the power to take peace from the earth and to make men slaves. To him was given a large sword.
What's up, folks? How we doing? I'm looking all snazzy today with a baby skull bandana around my neck, right? Yeah. So anyway, we're in the neighborhood of Gravesend, Brooklyn, literally on the border between Gravesend and Bensonhurst. This side of Stillwell Avenue's Gravesend. Right across the street there is Bensonhurst. Literally on the border. But anyway, just showing you around, letting you know that there are some neighborhoods here in Brooklyn that are not feeling the effects of any rioting. And it's important to get this out there because you got people in other parts of the country, other parts of the English-speaking world that don't know this. They think New York City as a whole is this major hotbed for rioting. And as you can see, that's not the case here. Okay? No noise anywhere. Nobody beating each other up. No cop cars coming through being piled on. The enforcement of social distancing was real though. But apparently because of the rioting, that stopped. Which takes me to the next subject. COVID-19, coronavirus. If there is no spike in COVID cases now because of these protests and riots, then obviously the members of the Democratic Party that are in power are full of it. Okay? This means Cuomo was either misinformed or he's been lying to you. It means de Blasio was misinformed or he's been lying to you. And you could go down the line with these different mayors and governors. Lori Lightfoot, Ralph Northam, Gary Newsom, Phil Murphy. Not a single one of them. Oh, you can't forget Gov Gretchen Whitmer. She is the pinnacle of unnecessary, draconian executive orders relating to COVID-19. She's become the epitome of that. And I'll say it again, these Democrats in power, they're not accurate at all. They're not accurate at all. And I try to keep it clean. I don't want to curse, but they're full of it. They're full of it. They don't know what they're talking about. Either that, or they do know what they're talking about, and they think we're all stupid. And a lot of you who panic because I'm out here with the bandana around my neck instead of on my face may well be. Okay. Back to the subject of rioting. Where's the riots? Oh look, a Walgreens that's not getting busted up. See it right there? That's a Walgreens that's not getting busted up. Nobody's even. I'm telling you, certain neighborhoods throughout New York City are perfectly fine. They're perfectly safe. And yes, I'll say it again. I've said it before in some of my posts. There is right and reason for protest. I'm not 100% sure on what the effectiveness is to protest outside of the city where the incident happened. But there is right and reason to protest. Rioting? No, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that only when I'm banned from performing at a venue. Then yeah, if you go to see me perform live at a particular venue and security is standing out front saying MC Too Tall isn't here, he's been banned from performing, yeah, then you riot. Then you riot. But not over something that happened in some other city. Yeah, like I said, I don't condone rioting unless it pertains to something done to me personally or something that affects fans of mine. Then I don't condone it. But that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying there. Now, the good news is what I've been saying and what I've said earlier in this video. No major rioting and looting. It's happening. It's happened in the Union Square area of Manhattan. It's happened in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. My old stomping grounds there, which I don't foresee ever going to again because, they don't like MC Too Tall over there anymore. Apparently I'm too gothic for them. So I have to, reconnect with my hip-hop brothers and sisters here in Brooklyn. Here in Gravesend, our community. But yeah. As I was talking about the lockdown being unnecessary for it to last as long as it did. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding because these riots have taken place and nobody's being picked up off the grounds of where these riots are taking place, thrown on gurneys and brought to a hospital getting hooked up to a ventilator. Not one. Not one. Not one person Not one person at one of these riots collapsed from complications related to COVID-19. Think about that. And there's one person yelling. I said everything's calm over here. I must have spoke too soon because there's somebody yelling. Hey, somebody yelling in a manner that is unbecoming of his nationality. He's yelling like a Guido. Oh wow, it's a Met fan. Okay, I see what's going on here. Okay, this is one of those bitter, frustrated white people that saw what was going on their TV. They saw white people being beaten up. He's frustrated, so he's walking around a predominantly white neighborhood, yelling and screaming about it in the streets. And that's what's going on. You're gonna get those. That happens every now and again. Hopefully he'll calm down before somebody hands his ass to him. But anyway, this guy's ruining my video by cursing. I went out of my way not to curse just so he could curse in the background of my video. I ought to run there and kick his ass myself. No, but anyway, have a good one, all right? Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. There's a video out there on social media, Instagram, Facebook. It's all over the internet, of a store owner pulling up in an SUV to protect his business. And he gets out of the SUV, opens up the back door, gets into the back seat, pulls out a shotgun, and starts blasting it into the crowd. I think it was a red one. This might even be it. Not that one, the one that's parked on the corner there. So anyway, as we trot along, this is Gravesend. Here's another thing I have issue with. Okay, I understand keeping sanitary or whatever, but when you do this, it defeats the whole purpose of PPE in the first place. Because if you put used PPE all over the sidewalk, if there is a deadly disease out there that's killing people still this late in the year, after it was grotesquely introduced to us, people would catch it from that. And smooth R&B. But anyway, that's the point I'm saying, is that even if coronavirus has weakened, why litter? Now that poor homeowner now has to deal with figuring out how to pick that up without getting infected and putting it in a proper receptacle. Trash can. That's $5 word talk for trash can. And I love this. Very patriotic. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies. Oh, amber waves of grain. Oh, purple mountains' majesty across the fruited plains. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna chug along home. I'm gonna edit this video because there's some things I have to update from what I said earlier in this video. And man, that's beautiful. I'm gonna miss Gravesend when it's time to up and move, but what could you do? I have this plan to go somewhere where there hasn't been a Democratic governor for years, because I figure that's going to be the trend, that there won't be a Democratic governor in said place of my choice for a very long time. You know, like Florida, for example. I don't know when the last time Florida had a Democratic governor. I know Texas fluctuates back and forth between parties when voting for the governor. I know Kentucky, I've been talking about Lexington, Kentucky for some time now. They currently have a Democratic governor, but that could change depending on how draconian their COVID orders are over there. But we'll see. Who knows? Gravesend might even be the hill I die on. Who knows? But anyway, chugging along here, chugging a coffee. I'm gonna head home, do some editing, and I'll talk to you in a few. Yeah, so I was talking with the guy Steve from the cafe, and he brought up a really interesting point, and I can't really disagree with him. Now, I know I said earlier in the video that if the coronavirus was a real threat, people would be collapsing in the middle of these riots from it. But he did bring up an interesting point, and he said, watch in about a week from now, you see things just start spiking up. You'll see people getting wheeled into hospitals, and it'll be these protesters and rioters. Not to be confused with one another. Some are protesters, some are rioters. The protesters, of course, are using their voice, exercising their First Amendment rights, and that sort of thing. Rioters are people who intrude on other people's right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But anyway, yeah, he did bring up an interesting point, and I cannot disagree with him. He said, watch in about a week, you'll see these numbers spike up. You'll be seeing people, all these rioters and protesters getting wheeled into hospitals all over the country, at least all over the city. And then we went on to talk about the travesties caused by Governor Cuomo with that whole nursing home fiasco that caused so many deaths unnecessarily. And yeah, the comfort was on New York shores. At first it wasn't COVID ready, and they converted it to make it COVID ready. Same thing with the Javits Center. They first made it non-COVID, and then they converted it to a COVID-ready temporary hospital. And there was enough space to put every last one of those people that were forced into nursing homes into these two spots instead, the Ship and the Javits Center. So yeah, so this is what we have going on. I really, really hope this man does not run for another term. Okay, he is in his third term now, as which was the amount of terms his father served as governor. And I must say, each and every time I was capable of voting, I voted against Mario Cuomo. I did vote for Andrew for his first term. There were times when I was voting Democratic because of Bush and Company. I'm not a fan of Bush and Company. And Hurricane Katrina is what changed my mind about Bush and Company. I thought they were doing the right thing until that hurricane hit. And I saw the inactions of that administration and how they were more concentrated on the Iraq war than taking care of people here at home. And yeah, that's not a way to run a country. So I got a little bit fed up with that, and I started voting Democratic. I started voting for people like Spitzer. That turned out to be a flop. And things like that. I was grateful that Christine Quinn did not get to become mayor. I voted against Bloomberg. And yeah, it was a lot going on. I voted against Bloomberg on his second and illegal third term. And that didn't pan out too well for me. And now all of a sudden he's a Democrat. I think it's the case of one rich guy being jealous of another rich guy. I think that's where that comes into play. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I think it is possible. It is possible that the corona cases could spike up from these protests. But that still remains to be seen. If nothing happens, then in a dark and cynical way, these riots did serve somewhat of a purpose to prove what I've been saying. But again, I could be proven wrong, so it's just out there, you know. These riots were like a litmus test for coronavirus. So we're going to sit and wait for about a week, see what happens. All right.